Nick Walker just won the 2024 New York Pro, and despite what some people say about it being a close battle, he was still the obvious clear winner. In my opinion, he has the best physique we've seen in 2024 so far, aside from probably Hadi at the Arnold, Ohio. So this is the comparison I have in store for you guys. Hadi at the Arnold, Ohio 2024 versus Nick at the New York Pro 2024. Mark's Max Muscle already did a picture comparison, and from reading your comments there, Hadi seemed to be the clear winner even for most Nick fans. I'm one of Nick's fanboys, I admit. He's my favorite bodybuilder today. I want to offer you a Supersetman traditional video footage analytical comparison to see if Hadi is really so much better than Nick Walker or better at all. Before we start, a like and sub would be appreciated. It helps the channel grow and means a lot to us content creators. Front double biceps. Hadi has way better proportions with a smaller, more aesthetic midsection, and because of his insane quad development, a crazy X-frame. However, Hadi's underwhelming arms get even more exposed against a guy like Nick, who has the best arms in the business today. I would even say Hadi looks a bit too bottom heavy, but camera angles play a role as his footage is taken from an angle closer to the stage floor. I believe Nick improved his overall proportions, especially his legs, which helps his case here. Don't worry guys, Hadi is winning this pose here, but Nick has the more complete package, and since he wins one of the focal points of the pose, namely the arms, hands down, this cannot be more than a 1-point subtle win for the Persian Wolf. Next is the front lat spread. We all know who's gonna win this pose. This is one of Hadi's strongest poses, while for Nick, it is his weakest pose by far. However, we have to give him credit because I think he looks the best he ever has in this pose. The leg improvement and the execution help a lot. With one of his previous showings, I think this could have been a decisive 3-point win for Hadi, but as they look here, I think I would stretch things a bit and award Hadi only a 2-point standard win, because I feel like Nick deserves this, at least for the effort. Side chest is next. I read the comments on that Mark's Max Muscle video and I was shocked to see how many people would give this pose to Hadi. For me it is close indeed, but it is clear as night and day that Nick cannot lose this pose to Hadi, especially since Hadi at the 2024 Arnold lost the biggest advantage he would have against Nick in this pose, namely the chest pop. If we look at the other important aspects of this pose, shoulders and arms, Nick literally knocks Hadi out, and it's not even funny. I don't even want to bring up Hadi's suspicious shoulders. Downstairs, Hadi has a slight advantage, but Nick doesn't look weak. Overall, this is a 1-point win for Nick Walker. The back double biceps is probably the only pose where even Hadi's fanboys would admit Nick is winning. Nick is more complete top to bottom and, more importantly, more polished top to bottom. Hadi is not winning anything here, but he still looks good enough. Good enough to be only a 2-point standard win for Nick. Things change in the other back pose, the back lat spread, even though I believe Nick slams Hadi downstairs, winning all 3 major muscle groups, glutes, hams and calves, and also being drier, Hadi transforms in the upper body when it comes to this second back shot. He beats Derek in this pose, he beats Nick in this pose, and he beats everybody in the world today in this pose. Against Nick here, this is a 1-point win for Hadi because of the lower body and because Nick's upper body looks improved. The side triceps is another pose where people hurry to give it to Hadi, in my opinion. Indeed, if we ignore the arms, Hadi is winning, there's no doubt about it. Not because Nick looks bad, but because Hadi is simply better. but Nick looks very good himself, and when you count in the arms and the triceps, which should be the focal point of the pose, I think you could make a very strong argument for Nick. This is the way I see things. Of course, I'm not a judge or an expert, I'm just a fan with an opinion just like you. In my opinion, Nick looks better according to what this pose should be about overall. A 1-point win for Nick in my books. The abs and thighs is a pose where nobody can beat Hadi, aside from a conditioned Andrew Jack probably. As for Nick, I believe his abs are spilling out compared to his previous showings, despite his quad improvements. Like I mentioned in my previous video, I believe he somehow shrunk his waist since 2021. Yes, his abs are spilling and also his obliques, but his midsection doesn't seem as wide now. Check that video to see him compared to his 2021 New York Pro version. Now back to this video, Hadi is winning the abs and thighs, and even though this pose was closer between these two in the past, since Hadi improved it and Nick got worse overall because of the spilling abs, I think this becomes a 3-point decisive win for Hadi here. That vacuum seals the deal for good. Another pose where people jump to award Hadi the win is the most muscular. This was Hadi's weakest pose a few years back, and nowadays everybody seems to be ignoring the very reason for that, the weak unbalanced arms and the suspicious shoulders. But aside from the arms, if we could ignore them, that's the best, most muscular in the world. That chest, midsection and lower body combination is deadly. As for Nick, he is a bit more balanced. He's got the best arms in the world, a more than decent midsection here, and good lower body. His chest is missing the pop, and he doesn't have Hadi's striations either. If we look at the current score, we can see that Hadi leads 4-3 on poses and 7-4 on points, meaning that Nick's only chance of not losing this comparison is a draw by winning the most muscular by 3 points. And this won't happen. Even if you believe the abs and thighs shouldn't be a 3-point win for Hadi and only 2, Nick is still not winning the most muscular by 2 points either. For me, this last pose is somewhere between a draw and a subtle win for either of them, because I have to admit, Hadi looks great in that crab variation. In the end, even though it's not ideal, I'm going to make this pose a draw, meaning 1 point each. So Hadi wins this comparison both on poses and on points. Does this mean that Nick can't beat him at the Olympia? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.